Hello. Hi, good morning everyone. We're from Avanti Fellows. I'm Pujita. I'm a product manager who's managing the AI mentorship workpiece. And with us, we also have Deepansh, who's the principal engineer working with me on building this. And today, we're also joined by Dhyanesh, who handles all the products for our async programs. I'll quickly start with giving an introduction on why Avanti Fellows even exists. Only 26% of graduates in India land a regular paying job. Of these, STEM graduates have twice the employability rate and twice the starting salaries than non-STEM graduates, which means that a admission into a top tier STEM college is the most efficient pathway out of poverty for students coming from lower income backgrounds. Unfortunately, the reality is that only 3.5% of students from low income backgrounds actually even qualify for these examinations, compared to 57% from high income backgrounds. Now, the reason for this is that a student typically spends about 2 lakhs on coaching for competitive exams like JEE and NEET, making this pathway systematically inaccessible for students coming from the lower income backgrounds. And that is why we exist to bridge this gap. What we do is we identify talent in lower income rural backgrounds and provide high quality free coaching, career guidance, college counseling, and sponsorship opportunities for these students. Our vision is to help students escape poverty in a single generation, and we operate in three models. We have async programs, we have online programs, and we have physical centers where our teachers are in these residential schools. Meet Khushbu, who is a student in one such school in Punjab. Khushbu's dad is a daily wage worker and her mother works in a production factory. She's the eldest of 6 children, and she will actually be the first in her family to go to college. Khushbu's in our JEE coaching program. She gets a test report after every test where she sees how she has performed overall, subject wise, and chapter wise. But she doesn't really know what to do with all of this information. She does not know what to prioritize for the next test, how her test prep strategy should keep evolving and changing. And all she actually really wants to know is before the next test that's coming up in 2 weeks, what should she exactly be doing? Meet Bhumika ma'am, who is her mentor and the chemistry teacher in her school. Bhumika ma'am takes a minimum of 4 classes a day and she works well into the night, spending quality time with her students. This is a residential school. To just put it into perspective, when we were making the slide, she gave us a slot at 10 p.m. for us to get more information about all of this. Now, for Bhumika ma'am to actually help Khushbu, these are the things that she has to do. She has to go through all of Khushbu's test reports. She has to go through all of their previous mentorship sessions, correlate and figure out what has been working, what has not been working. Figure out for Khushbu's specific category what is the cutoff score that they are chasing, what is coming up in the next test, and figure out with all of this information what Khushbu should be doing. All of this takes a minimum of 45 to 50 minutes. And she has to do this for all the students that she's mentoring, which is about 10 to 15 students. Now, there are two things that actually happen on ground. One is teachers just don't have the bandwidth to do this for each and every student. Second, not all teachers have the expertise to mentor students. And what ends up happening is a very generic mentorship session for all the students. And this was the problem that we picked up in the first cohort. Is there a way for us to be able to give Khushbu very specific guidance, test after test, without adding to Bhumika's workload? What we did is we built an AI tool that sources all of this information, correlates it, and generates a briefing that the mentor can just glance through before the session, reducing the prep work from 45 to 50 minutes to about 5 to 10 minutes. We piloted this in 2 schools, and one of our biggest wins, surprisingly, was that we had given the summaries for all the students as part of the mentorship program, and we asked them to use it if they found it useful. Of the 72 students that were mentored, 57 of them were mentored using these summaries. Another unexpected thing that happened was all the students who are not part of the mentorship program started approaching and bombarding the teachers, asking if they can also get mentored as soon as they realized that their peers were getting very specialized attention, which actually eventually led us to pausing this program for a while because this was getting into their teaching time. Some of the things that were raised were concerns that were raised was the accuracy, where the data points were coming through, but the interpretation was not correct. For example, it used to say things like score went up from 27 to 19. So as soon as we realized all the pilot results and these were the metrics, instead of starting to fix it immediately, we kind of took a huge step back and we reconnected with our teachers, because this process so far has been a little top down, where we knew that this was the problem, and then we started working with the central teams. We included 2 expert teachers, but we really didn't know how it was being perceived on ground. So we did a 2-day human-centered design research workshop with all 13 mentors of the 2 pilot schools, where on the first day, all the activities were just about us trying to understand what their day-to-day life looks like, without mentioning the AI tool, without bringing up any of the tools that we've built, just to understand what are all of these unmet needs that are surfacing. On the second day, we gave Kushbu's AI summary to all the teachers and made them annotate what they liked, what they did not like, how they would have liked it to improve. Without going into all the activities and just sticking to just the mentorship part, one of the activities that we made them do was map out the journey of the mentorship session. What do they do before the session? What do they do during the session? And what do they do after the session? And we realized that teachers are constantly creating a mental model or a mental profile of their students, which is sourced from various data sources. One is the traditional format, which is through test reports, class attendance. The other is through the classroom observation. And the third is through conversation with other teachers or other students. And the one that they give the least weightage to is the formal source, which is the test data or classroom attendance data. The reason for this is that this is scattered or fragmented into different pages on a dashboard, and mostly it's not something that they are able to retain without looking at something. And this is where the AI summaries have the most opportunity to completely replace this, so that their cognitive load is freed up for the other two. Another key thing that we found out was that the before part was wildly inconsistent amongst all the teachers. Some of them were going in looking at 8 test reports, and some of them were opening up the last test report for the first time in front of the student. So the other opportunity that we found the AI summaries to have is that at least it creates the same starting ground, which is a good enough place to start and have a high quality conversation. What they do with this is dependent on their expertise, but it's at least a good enough starting point. And the thing that we realized was that the after part is where there is absolutely no processes in place, there is no system in place. And during the conversations, teachers are very aspirant. They create study plans. They decide that they need to talk to these teachers, these specific subject teachers for this child. But when the week gets hectic, those are the things that first get dropped and deprioritized. And for this, we're also thinking of building a teacher-facing interface that we'll be demoing in some time. On the next day, when we asked them to annotate the AI summary, the things that worked well was that they really valued the fact that time was extensively saved. They liked the fact that the AI summaries was not giving definitive guidance, but asking them to probe the student about these specific data points. Again, the thing that we found in the pilot, which was that the data trust was fragile because the data was being interpreted incorrectly, came up again. And the other thing that also came up was that the guidance section was too lengthy and there were too many words. And they always felt like, I actually know how to interpret it better, so I'm not going to read all of this. Just give it to me in small bullet points. We asked them where would they draw the lines for the AI tool? What do they think that it should and should not do? Again, the one thing that everybody agreed on was that it should not definitively say something just based on 1 or 2 test reports, because they actually know the students better. And they always just wanted things to be highlighted, but the final say on what the student should do would always be a decision between them and the student. They surprisingly also asked us for more such tools. So similar to how we're giving them a report for every student after every test, can we actually give them a report after every test for how the class has performed, so that instead of this just helping with mentorship, it can also help them with their classroom practices. And finally, we asked them, what would the success of this tool look like for you? When would you say that this tool has helped or impacted you? And we got very raw responses, where one of them said that if I finish the mentorship session and I feel like I still have some energy left, I'll feel like this was a successful tool. Another teacher said that if I can tell my student that, see, we discussed this, and then you did this, and then this is how your performance has been impacted by it. If I can actually point to something that has actually happened, I would think that that is a success. Now with all of this, we then went back and decided to do the following. One was to redesign the guidance section, improve accuracy, build out the evaluation pipeline, and create the teacher-facing interface. I will hand it over to Deepansh for a quick demo.
Thank you. Hi everyone. So I'll talk about these things that we tried to fix, that we found out from our pilot. So, like as Pujita said that like this was the earlier guidance section and it was quite messy. So we tweaked our prompts and kind of talked to teachers and got it into 3 points. So this was a very small change, but we didn't have an evaluation pipeline till yet, which was the next step. But before that, I'll talk about solving the accuracy problem. So as you know, like AI is not good with numbers. It takes so what we did, we have a lot of calculations in our reports. So we created dedicated tools for that. So it's deterministic and we pass them to the AI. And so it was not making silly mistakes like number is increasing. So it's saying that it's decreasing. This is an example of we gave our AI a workspace so it can write down whatever it's thinking. So if you see this table here, these numbers and these attempt rate accuracy percentage, all of this is coming from the tool, so it's deterministic. So earlier our accuracy was about 70%, but because we removed non-deterministic part, it actually went up to 100%, and there was no kind of guesswork in those numbers. Second thing is we added visibility into reasoning, so we were able to point out issues that were there, like at what point of time the agent or the AI went wrong and read a wrong file, or it had the wrong data. So these things help us fix the accuracy part. Next part was the evaluation pipeline. I think this is where the cohort helped a lot. Without the cohort, I think we wouldn't have we would have deprioritized this, but we realized that it is extremely important. So if you see the below table here, we actually got our curriculum team to evaluate the reports and give like proper scores to them. So we could create a benchmark set out of this. This is a scoring criteria that they came up with, and they have their own justifications for that. Talking about cost, so we have done these many eval runs right now, and about $50 per run. We're using a smarter model for evals, but for actual runs, we're using a cheaper model. I'll skip this. Yeah, this is like the final report. It goes as a PDF to the teacher. This is the actual like report creation cost. It costs about $0.01. We're using DeepSeek model. It's a very cheap model, and based on our eval results, it's doing perfectly fine. For this part, I'll pass over to you.
So this is the teacher-facing interface that we're building, where they can see all the students who are mapped to them. They can also see how they've been performing. They can generate the summaries there, and they can put in the notes post the session. There is a hard stop, so I'll kind of quickly summarize this. What's next is very clear for us in terms of evaluation, to not just score the benchmark outputs, but to also start scoring some of the sample outputs that we're generating, and comparing it with what the mentors are scoring it, and seeing where the divergence occurs, iterating on the prompts. Building the LMS, and we're also planning to roll out in July and August. July with the 2 schools that have already seen this, and an additional 2 schools who are headed by the same program manager, and then the new ecosystem of the Navodaya Vidyalaya schools. And just to kind of bring you all back to Khushbu, so Bhumika ma'am can now walk into the class knowing exactly what are the patterns of performance that Khushbu has been showing, and she would be able to have a more specific conversation and a more useful conversation with Khushbu right from the start. And this is what we hope to achieve, where our mentors are able to trust these summaries and it becomes a part of their routine. And hopefully what we really want to achieve is that they are able to mentor more students, because right now, because of the teachers' bandwidth, they only mentor 10 students each, and there are 3 teachers in a school. Hopefully this gets so routine and they are so used to it that it becomes easier for them to reach out to more students and mentor more of them. That's it with our time. Thank you.